welcome to our presentation. We're Team Omni Bellas, and we're here today to make recommendations for Bella's Boutique. My name is Alicia Morales, and today I will be introducing the problem that we found at Bella's Boutique. And then we will have Evelyn Patino talking to you about our primary research, followed by Ali Martinez, who will be talking to you about our secondary research. Then we'll have Grace Peterson talking to you about our findings and conclusions. And then lastly, we'll have Daniela Sanabra talking to you about our recommendations themselves. So just once again, my name is Alicia Morales, and I'm going to be introducing the problem. So our clients, who unfortunately aren't here today, were Ernest De La Peña and Taylor Bencomo. And they basically came to us saying that they wanted to maximize their profits even more while encouraging store attendance. So we got together as a team and decided that the problem that they had was that they lacked foot trafficking and therefore were being outperformed by a very similarly related retail store called Eliza's. So now I'm going to hand it over to Evelyn Patino, who will be talking to you about our primary research.
Thank you, Alicia. As Alicia mentioned, my name is Evelyn. I'll be presenting the primary research collection and analysis. So again, once again, as Alicia mentioned, we first started to develop the need through a problem statement, which then helped us create and discuss what type of questions we need in the survey, and what do we want to ask the population that we are going to hand out these surveys to, and then we established the top 10 questions for it. So after creating and discussing the surveys, we then needed approval in order to distribute these surveys. The distribution that we had, or that we made, was here at St. Edward's University, and we chose St. Edward's because it's a very diverse community, and in a hotel, they do have a very, diverse community too. They have people coming in from all over the world, I assume, and maybe some clients or customers that come in regularly, since it is a resort. And then after distributing the surveys there here at St. Edward's University, we also chose to do paper surveys because it's easy to handle, and because the population here in St. Edward's are students, staff, and faculty, we decided getting the surveys back would be easier too. So each of us had to distribute about 50 surveys in order to get a certain amount of surveys back, which was 250. So then that's what we did. We collected them afterwards. So this is just a table showing about some of the data that we had between males, females, and valid surveys that we had. So moving on to the primary analysis research that we had was what was determined between a valid or an invalid survey. We decided that a valid survey was that all of the survey was complete, and fortunately we didn't have any invalid surveys. We decided that because if only one question was unanswered, we still tallied all the information on the survey because all the other questions were still valuable and they would still help us. So we just decided to throw out one of the questions that was not answered or they didn't answer it correctly. And then moving on to the confidence level, as the table that we see right here, we had about 250 surveys that we handed out, but we only received 242. So that helped us maintain a confidence level between 93 and 95%, which is what we wanted in order to give our customer the best feedback. So our confidence level was a 93%, and we got that number by seeing the population here at St. Edward's, which was about 5,000, given more or less. So then that's how we came up with the 250 surveys that we needed to distribute and to stay within that confidence level. So some of the questions that were on those surveys were demographics, females, males, and household income. And we decided to do this because male and females have very different likes, dislikes, and it's not going to be the same. So we wanted to see what type of things they had different or what they had similarities. And then other questions were some such as how often do you go shopping, or things like at a store, like what do you like with the appearance or sales, and just things like that, ranking the stores, what they have. So that concludes my part of the presentation. So now I'm going to pass it on to Ellie Martinez, who's going to talk about the secondary research.
Thank you. Again, my name is Ellie Martinez, and I will be covering the secondary research portion of this presentation. I will be going over our procedure as to what we did in our secondary research, as well as the information that we found in our research, such as information about the digital retail, knowing your customer, and then the importance of providing your customers a shopping experience. So, beginning with our procedure, as a team, we all collectively found articles, both professional and scholarly, online. And we went through these articles to analyze them, and we found information that pertained to both the retail and the hospitality industry, which Bellas is a part of. Both, seeing that it's part of the Omni Hotel Resort and also a retail business in itself. So I want to touch upon the information that we found, such as information on the digital retail. We found that in digital retail, according to a Forbes.com article, we found that 31% of millennials prefer online shopping compared to brick and mortar shopping. And the reason for that is because online shopping allows millennials and also just consumers in general to find the items that they want within their price range or for the lowest price available. So for instance, say someone wants a pair of True Religion jeans. They'll go into Bellas, go try on the jeans, know what size they need, know which model of jeans they like, and then they'll go online and find the jeans either on eBay or maybe on a bartering and trading website. And so we found that this is information that will help Bella benefit from trying to figure out how to compete with the online shopping. And then also, millennials aren't the only target population for Bellas. We also have high-end customers as well. And so that's what leads us to the information about knowing your customer, because the high-end customer isn't the same as they were a few years ago. A few years ago, high-end customers would go in to buy products simply for the luxury of having an expensive product. Now, what we're finding is that according to luxury.com, Jen King writes about the high-end customers wanting products that the people who are selling them know about. So she had an interview with the former CEO of Bergendorf Goodman, who also confirmed that high-end sellers or high-end buyers want to go to the salespeople and be able to ask them about a certain brand, and then the salesperson has all this knowledge about it. And then also they want to know about the craft of the brand and stuff like that. And so that's why it's very important to know your customer. And then this also leads us to the shopping experience, because the salespeople are part of the shopping experience. But in an article that we read from Mick Mathusik, who is a retail consultant specifically in the hospitality realm, he discusses in his article that it's best to have your retail store appeal to the five senses of the customer, because the five senses is what appeals to them. So offering cookies where they can smell the delicious gooey chocolate chips or something like that will make them go in, or maybe music that they hear while walking around the store won't, if it's heavy metal or something, they won't want to immediately leave the store or whatever. So finding stuff that appeals to the five senses is something that we found, and so that's what we found in our secondary research, and I will leave you guys with Grace, who will discuss the findings.
Okay, I'm Grace, and I'm presenting the findings. Like Evelyn was saying, we had a 93% confidence rate. What we did with the surveys from there is we separated them by gender. So we did male and then female. And for the purpose of Bellas, we kind of focused more on female. Taylor explained to us that female is mostly their demographic that's going in there. They sell dresses and those types of things. So we kind of zoned in on that for that purpose. 66% of females at St. Ed said that they do go to high-end retail stores and have visited one in the last 6 months. From there, we kind of branched off again and had another demographic. We wanted to look at specifically the females that were visiting the high-end retail stores and what kind of things were appealing to them. So 81% of them said that they use some type of social media and that it influences their purchases in some way. That's super high, and Bellas doesn't use any social media whatsoever. So obviously that's something that they need to look at. 82% of the people are purchasing the brands that are in Bella's boutique. One of the concerns was that maybe they need to change the brands, or maybe that was a problem with them. That's not the case at all. These people are purchasing those brands. And then 52% though of these people who are visiting high-end retail stores, they are purchasing these brands, are not walking into hotel boutiques. So the problem is that there's a gap there that they're not reaching. So we have to find why are these people going to specific places to purchase these items. So we had a ranking system as one of our questions. It had very important to very unimportant people, and we kind of had little icons on there that said rank and let us know how you feel about these. There were some that we knew were probably going to be ranked very important, like price was on there. There were two that we were kind of iffy about that were on there, and it turns out that the gifts and promotions are very important to people, along with the complimentary items as well are important. So from there, it kind of ties in perfectly to our secondary findings. And one that we talked about was hosting an event. The three important things when hosting an event, they said, were to inform, amuse, and entertain the customers. That can be used in aspects of social media as well, kind of in any type of marketing scheme. You can use those three ideas when you're creating your posts. Again, in our secondary social media findings, we looked at a statistical analysis of social media use in small business. We know that the consumers are using social media. We know that the people are going, but does it really benefit? And it said absolutely. Using social media is the best way of free marketing for a small business to use. By free, I mean you don't have to pay for papers, you don't have to pay for it to be on the TV or anything like that. All you have to do is create it and probably pay the creative team to create it and then just send it out there and it's out there. So it's definitely a huge benefit. The target market is important. I would hope that no one would start a business without knowing their target market, but what is interesting is the target market is always evolving. So it's important to stick with it and always be looking at the target market. And they're saying luxury consumers specifically, their target market has evolved recently, saying that they want things that are more simple. No one wants to dress up to go shopping or anything like that. They just want to go in there, their Lululemons, and get in there. So also appealing to the five senses, like she was saying, is really important. We've all experienced when you're walking through the mall and you smell a store and you're like, where's that store? And you point at it, and even if you don't go into the store, you're aware of it and the placement is right. So they talked about using five senses, and so that way you remember and it has a right place in their mind. So then I'm gonna give to Danielle, and she's gonna do the recommendations.
As Grace said, my name is Danielle Snobria, and I will be presenting the recommendations. Based on the findings and conclusions, we have decided that our main suggestion would be hosting social store events, which would basically entice the consumers to go inside the store. Our main recommendation one of our recommendations would be hosting a wine tasting, where the store would offer would offer a few select wines along with hors d'oeuvres, which could be cheese and crackers. Along with that would be styling presentations and You may ask, what are these styling presentations? And these styling presentations can consist of hairstyling presentations, or I guess a fashion consultant walking, hosting the event and just kind of showing women how to do their hair for everyday events or how to style their wardrobe for everyday events. In addition, we have also suggested that providing complimentary manicures would spoil the customers. If you were to put manicures by the entrance of the door, people would wonder what would be going on, and that would entice the customers to go in. Overall, just providing a unique experience for the customers would just allow Bella's Boutique to stand out from all the other competitors, such as Eliza. Alternatively, we have come up with other suggestions, such as providing complimentary event items, which can consist of refreshments and treats. They could be healthy and elaborate and elegant, and either employees can hand them out to customers, or they could be set by the register in order to make sure that everyone in the store gets something. In addition, we have suggested that social media is very important. It could be Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and Hootsuite. For Facebook, Bella's Boutique can offer special store events and just kind of inform the consumers of these events, in addition to clearance sales and exclusive in-store coupons. As for Pinterest, Bella's Boutique can show the customers the different types of clothing items and accessories that have just arrived in the store by posting, outfits just to see what they can coordinate. In addition, Instagram and Twitter, they can use the hashtag Bella's Boutique in order to start a trend and kind of interact with all the other consumers. For example, customers can show pictures of their outfits or items that they have bought at Bella's Boutique and just see how they've incorporated it and hashtag it with Bella's Boutique. In addition, there's also a direct message feature, which is available on Instagram and Twitter, and it can kind of, increase customer service, or if customers have any questions or comments to make, Bella's Boutique can use this feature to contact them or reply. In addition, we have suggested Hootsuite, which is a website that manages all of your social media accounts, and one post on Hootsuite can go out on all the other social media accounts. Now on to Alicia, who will be concluding the presentation.
Thank you, Daniela. Just to conclude, I'm Alicia, and I discussed with you the problem that Bella's Boutique had, and then we had Evelyn, who talked to you about our primary research, followed by Allie, who talked to you about our secondary research, and then we had Grace talk to you about our findings and conclusions, and then we had Daniela, who just spoke to you about our recommendations. Once again, we really recommend for Bella's Boutique to host store events like wine tasting or styling presentations and whatnot to help increase their foot traffic. Thank you to our clients, even though they unfortunately couldn't be here today. They were a big part of our project throughout the semester. And at this time, if there's any questions, my group and I would love to answer them.
Okay,